Welcome to the Social for Brokers podcast. Today, now if you're actually watching on YouTube, you know exactly who I've got on. It's Ash Borland. He's back on the podcast. He is the mortgage broker, come content marketing consultant, and he's been helping mortgage brokers streamline their business and teaching them how to win on social media. So I thought it'd be really good to get him back on the podcast and talk through a few of the things he's been doing with brokers. So Ash, welcome back to the podcast, mate.
Mate, it's always a pleasure. And I absolutely love this show. Your show, I did a poll in my Facebook group and your show kept coming up as people like it a lot. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Also, I never knew that.
Yeah, it's really good. Like you're doing, I love what you do here. And I just love the way that it's quite unique. Your show, I think there's so many now in the mortgage industry. And I think the way that yours is, you have good conversations. You obviously are a student of good podcasters. I know you like John Lee Dumas and stuff like that. So it's like, you do it really well. You interview and you prepare really well. So I'm really, really pleased to be on here.
Awesome. Thank you. And we've upped the game as well. If you look at the mic that Ash recommended probably about 6 months ago, and it took me 6 months to get around to buying it.
It's because you're tight, mate. You could have afforded that a long time ago.
I've got to get one of these posh arms now that swings around and stuff. But
it's annoying because if you lived local to me, I've got a client of mine who lives local, and his office looks amazing because when I buy stuff and I get new stuff, I just give him my old stuff. So if you lived local to me, I would have just been at your office and setting it up because I just love setting it up. So
I've got my eyes on those. I've got my eyes on those soundproofing things behind you. So when you upgrade that, I couldn't believe how expensive those things were. Like I saw there's a guy on TikTok, Ryan Magin, and he was saying he spent 90 grand padding out his office for anybody that's obviously listening to it, not watching it, they're like triangles, foam triangles.
Egg boxes, aren't they?
Yeah, egg boxes that kind of dampen the sound so you get better quality. In this office, it's quite echoey, but in there, it'd be really, do you know what I mean? Really soft.
Yeah.
It's 90 grand he spent to kit out his office in them.
I mean, yeah, I think it is quite, I'm looking at mine now. I can't remember because it was a couple of years ago and I did it. It was all kind of in the building cost when we did that, when we had this built. But I mean, I would reckon that it was a couple of thousand to have this done because it was, because it's everywhere. Like there's not a single wall that doesn't have it. And the ceiling, half the ceiling has got it on as well. It's very warm, makes it very warm.
I was going to say, does it keep it warm?
Yeah, it sounds nice. It does keep it very warm. It's really good in the winter and really bad in the heat wave. You know, like it was terrible. But no, they are really good. The truth is, you only actually need them without going too off piece. But you only actually need them in front of you. The things behind me, it's purely just like if I was to do it again, I wouldn't do it. I would have had that as just a white wall behind me, and I probably would have had maybe like a poster or something, like just like what you've got. Like I like that. Then I would have kept it all the same at the front, but not like at the back. Because the realistic thing is your voice is going forward, and all it's got to do is make sure that it doesn't bounce off something and come back to the microphone. That's all that is about. So as long as it's soaking it up at the front. The back, like I'm not shouting back there. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I see what you mean. Well, I'll have to invest in some of those anyway.
You can, but they look nice. I mean,
exactly.
Really they look good around you'd have some really good ones. Like if you got some orange and blue ones, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, everything is orange and blue in my life.
Has to be.
I can't see orange and blue without. I had somebody messaged me a few months ago and they saw a bus in Manchester that was orange and blue and they thought it was a Social for Brokers bus. I was like, right, I've achieved it.
I know you were chatting to Anish and Anish said to me, it was like that he was having some banter with you saying, you said you're using the Social Brokers colours and he said, are you using the Anish Mortgages colours?
I didn't even realise he was orange and blue.
No, well, I didn't realise they were the same. And then I was looking, I went, oh my gosh, they're exactly the same. Like, because I do a lot of his stuff with him sometimes. And I was like, oh yeah. And I said to him, I was like, mate, I'm sorry. Like I now just keep seeing Chris.
Right, we've beaten these. Sorry, mate. So I've got some stuff going out, some clips of his going out over the next few weeks. But he's one of your clients. Anyway,
sorry, come.
Give everybody a bit of a background. I mean, a lot of people will know who you are, but in 60 seconds, can you sum up your background in the industry and what you do now for people?
Yeah, sure. Real quick. Started off as an estate agent, from estate agency, moved into being a broker, all through corporates, through Connells. And it wasn't Connells, but Sequence. And then from there went off and worked for a mortgage firm who is under Quilter. And when I was at Quilt, when I was at that firm, I decided that I was fed up of working with, to be honest with you, working with estate agents who would give you a really rubbish lead. They'd pass you a really terrible lead. They'd moan that you charged a fee because they wouldn't get the fee or whatever. They'd probably tell the guy most of the time that if you asked me nice enough, I'd waive the fee. You know, it was all this really annoying things. And then you'd give them 35% or 30% of the case for the trouble of being really rubbish. Like, it was just really wound me up. So I got very annoyed at that point. I had another introducer lined up, and then I lost that introducer because they decided to create their own in-house advisor, tried to poach me to be the in-house advisor. And I said no. And then they just dropped us. So when that all happened, I decided to pick up a phone. I pick up my camera. I was kind of at breaking point, and I just was like, sod this. I'm just going to make a video. Had never really knew nothing about social media, knew nothing about tech, knew nothing about cameras, knew nothing about any of it really. I had a background in performing arts, so I knew how to talk, but I didn't, and present, but I didn't know any of the tech behind it. That was 2016 when I did that. And then it took off. Well, it didn't took off at the beginning. It took off. It took a long time. It's one of those stories now, which is very wonderful, but at the time it sucked. You know, and I would do a video every single day. And then by about 2017, it was really starting to bear fruit. And then fast forward, I started, you know, generating leads through it, lots of leads, and giving those leads to friends because I couldn't really deal with them and stuff like that. And then fast forward, the pandemic hit, and I was at this point consulting a few brokers on how I did it, and but not really like as an income. I had like it was a little bit of income. The first lot got it for free, you know, when we all do that. Yeah, I'll help you out, no problem. And then it moved into like a little bit of being a bit of a paid kind of side hustle. And when COVID hit, I just was like, you know what, I can't deal with the compliance of the because I have a compliance background, which is not it's relevant in the rant that I did on Facebook yesterday, but other than that, it's not really relevant. I just was like, I'm not going to be able to keep up with these criteria changes, and so I sold my business, and I sold my what I had because I'd gone self-employed fully by that point, had my own firm, and went all in on this, and that was 2019. And was 2020? No, 2020. When it was March 2020, wasn't it? COVID. So like, yeah, it was 2020, and then fast forward to now, really, like the last since 2020 2022, I've been all in on this and worked with over 200 advisors. I think right now it's about 228 advisors, roughly, one-to-one. Not including anybody that's come through any online trainings or anything I've done. I know what works. I know what doesn't. I've seen a lot of stuff that doesn't. I've failed a lot, and I've won a lot. And I've got clients who will do $500,000. It's gone mad, really. But yeah, I could never have believed that guy propping that camera up in 2016 would be the same person now.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You just did something a bit different and position yourself in the market. And what you do at the moment is help brokers position themselves in the market. So who would you say your three clients, the biggest clients are that people would recognize out there on social?
Biggest three. I've got some really great heavy hitters. I've got a lot of people who, this is the tough thing with this. I've got a lot of people who are doing really well, but they're not.
And I didn't want to single out. I was aware of that. You've got some great brokers, but who would be the three that
I know what you mean,
probably recognize? And
that's what I was about to say, is that like it's really interesting because there's like two different things. Some people do really well, but they're like, and it's funny because the one I will say, so my biggest one, the one that most people will know me for, is Carla Edwards. So everybody knows me for Carla. Carla's crushing it, and you know, just changing the entire insurance industry, really, if I'm really honest with the stuff that we're at now. We worked together for 3 years. Coming up to 3 years. So because it was before all of that stuff. And then about 2.5, yeah. And then Anish Patel is the other one, and he's one that was like very much under the radar, doing very, very well. And in the last few months, he's all of a sudden really come to the top, and everybody, the amount of people who jump on a call with me and go, I'm on the call because you work with Anish. And I'm like, really? Like more now than they do with Carla, which was crazy because Carla was the main one. And then another big person that I work with in the industry is another one that you would really know is probably a guy called Craig Skelton. So Craig works with me, and we do the Mortgage Broker broadcast. I actually produced that show, and I'm like one of the guys I'm behind all of what he does with his marketing. They're the three main ones who people would know. But there are lots of others as well that like I could quote, but I don't, you know, so you're all wonderful, but those are the three that like are the people that
Would
people mention.
recognise,
Yeah, they say they're the guys.
And obviously you do lots of different things. You help them, like what you say, Craig, with his show, and you help Carla Edwards with recording, those type of things. But what essentially do you help people with? And after that, we're going to talk about some of the tools that could help people listening to the podcast. So how do you help brokers at the minute, Ash?
Yeah, so how I actually help, so I help them, I'm a consultant, so I help them, I work with them one-to-one, so I don't do group right now or any. I have an online program as well, which is an online masterclass, which really just gets you geared up to have an idea of what it's like to work with me, so people can do it if they've got knock of the budget, which is the big one, or that they're ready to work together. So that's like, I've got this online masterclass, which is a very low ticket product. The main thing is one-to-one coaching and consulting. And so what I do with advisors is I help them effectively build out what I call the mortgage broker blueprint. I've spoken before, but it's mortgage marketing blueprint. Sorry, but it's effectively 4 stages of a very sustainable marketing blueprint that will generate you leads, and it will not only generate you leads, but it will compound over time. So I teach them how to do that. So it's this idea of they're building these, it's broken into 4 stages. Stage 1 is the marketing. Stage 2 is the pre-appointment. Stage 3 is the follow-up, and stage 4 is the final touch. That takes like a year to learn how to do that properly. But it's the system that pretty much every client I work with goes through. And I teach them how to do that. And I'm a big believer of teach a man to fish, not give a man to fish. When it comes to video, heavily, not so much with what you guys do. I love what you guys do at the Social Brokers, because I think that you don't need to be, me as the advisor doesn't need to be involved in that, because it's graphical, it's visual, and it doesn't require my face. But like with video, it requires your face, and there's lots of stuff. So I effectively teach people how to really navigate on social properly and do it as a broker, because what the big problem we have in the industry is many people are taking advice from, say, social media consultants who don't understand financial services. And and that's a big problem, because things like building out a funnel page, it's not really relevant. You don't need to do that. So people spend a lot of money and time on things that are not relevant or needed in the financial services industry. So because I'm one of the very uniquely placed people now to have an understanding of both worlds, it really has, and now really niching into it as an advisor, as a helping only brokers, it's really been like kind of transformative for advisors, because we can really cut through the fluff. So that's what we do, but it's no done for you. I don't do any, no one can pay me enough money to do that.
That's where we do it for you. We do the social content for you. So there's 2 things I want to speak about then. It's one thing that I hadn't even thought about speaking on this podcast was mortgage brokers are, you as mortgage brokers listening to this, are so niche in the way that you have to speak to clients, but also nurture your clients. I can't think of any other product or service in the world where I'll sell it to you today, but you'll need to speak to me again in 2, 3, 5 years' time. I can't think of anything else. I don't know if anything comes to mind, but so how can mortgage brokers stay in touch, and what do they need to talk to people about for 2 years on social to keep them engaged? And that's where the likes of Ash comes in, videos, keeping people up to date, what's going on in the market, some fun posts, some informative posts, some engaging posts. There's no other company that I can think of, I suppose PPC for cars, where you've got to keep your audience engaged for such a long period of time. You've
just got to keep them. It's a really weird thing of like, you just got to keep them going. I'm here, I'm here. And the problem as well, I find with social, is to do it well, you've got to make them know you're there, but also remember why they know you. That's the problem. If it's, I know you're there, but it's just a photo of your dog, and that's fine. But if it's too much of that, what starts to happen is they're like, oh, there's so many people in your Facebook feed or Instagram feed. And you're like, I don't really know how I know them, but they're a nice, you need it to be like if you talk about with Anish, every time you see a video from him, he's talking about something to do with mortgages. And so now the personal stuff happens in the stories, which is where that all happens. Yeah. And you need a bit of both. You do need both. But what you're seeing is that he's constantly telling people, I'm here, I do this job. When you need me, I'll still be here to help you out. And I think that is the fundamental difference with mortgages, is you do have to keep saying, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, because they don't want you until they need you. And so you've just got to be so relevant. And one thing I'd love to point out with you for the listeners is, like I said about my understanding of like the industry from being an advisor and then moving into marketing. The thing that I love about work like you, and I always sing your praises, is that you were an estate agent for a long time. That's why your content's very good. This is the thing that annoys me with people, when like you probably see it, where people, you've got to understand the industry, because you're an estate agent, you know what the industry is and what the audience wants to see, because you're on the forefront of it. And I think that when someone outsources to people who are not in a niche, I think many and at that point, I believe when people outsource their social media, or like even consulting with like what I do, outside of someone who doesn't understand such the nuances that goes into the UK property market and finance and refinance market in the mortgage broker industry, you are going to just get generalists, and you may as well save your money. You may as well just buy the leads, because you're going to waste money if you're just going to pay a normal agency. I think it's really interesting to go to people that actually know.
Exactly. That's it. It's having that knowledge in the industry, because it's not only the knowledge of the industry, it's the knowledge of the pain points of those people. So it's talking about, at the moment, it's all about cost of living crisis. How does that relate to your mortgage? Well, I know, and you'll be exactly the same. You know that there's not many Remo products out there that will save people money. So you go down the SVR route. If you're on your SVR, that's going to have gone up, or could have gone up. Do you know what I mean? It's having that knowledge, and that's where working in a niche will always
Well,
help.
I was blown away by you on that. Just quick, I know you want to talk about me, but I wanted to just give you props again. You can clip this, but I was just blown away by the rate change and how you and Soph were just so on it. And I actually was inspired by how prepared you were for it. And I actually I said to a client, someone said, well, how do I do this? And I was like, the next rate change, you need to said, prepare them. I said, and make content that doesn't have the number of the rate. Just say, rate's gone up. This is happening. I was like, you need to prepare this, because I was really like impressed with that. Like I saw it and I thought, wow, like I have
to give a shout out to Sophie, who's just sat over from me. Every 6 weeks, she will make sure it's in the diary for when the base rate is due to go up or change. The week before, Sophie will contact all of our clients and say, do you want a base rate? What do you want the message to be? Do you want it to be like a bit of scarcity mindset? You need to get in touch, or friendly one, put the kettle on, give us a call. And that's where you've got to understand your audience as well. It's not just us. We need the input from you guys, but to find out how you want to contact your audiences, because what normally happens, if you run your own socials, it can normally be, oh, crap, I've just seen everyone talk about the base rate. I need to get a post out quick. And it's a bit slapdash. It's half-assed. And then
it shows that you know the industry. No other social media agency, digital agency is going to be going, do you know what? The base rate's coming in 5 weeks. We better. No one is going to be doing that. Yeah. No one. And that's the difference with it. Like, and it's really impressive, is like, that's why you should work, like you say about the Holy Trinity with us. But I do believe you should have people who understand the industry, because if they don't, imagine being like you get it. If you just get given something and it's irrelevant, it's like, okay, cool. It's just generic.
It's not topical at all, is it?
Right, I've hijacked this and just praising you guys for your awesome content.
Well, yeah, we won't say no to that, but thank you. So that was the first thing, is talking about topical content. What we then need to discuss, and I'd like your opinion on this, is when doing videos, because video content is huge at the minute, can video content be done by an external company?
I don't think it can.
And I would agree with you in terms of videos. I can't sit here and promote Smith's Mortgages because I'm not the face of your brand. And it's hard to get on camera to start with, but the only way that you can promote yourself is to get on camera, isn't it? With reels.
I know that me and you have had discussions, off air, like how can you get into video? As in, like, is it something you could offer? Clients have asked you for it. I know that, but the truth is, and as we say, there's a reason why you don't offer it. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason why I don't offer it. I don't do, like, I've tried doing done for you services before, but they all require it's really hard. Okay, that's really good. So what I found with video is that the quality of the video doesn't matter in the same way the quality of the graphic, the static images does. Because what's really important is the value of the information that you're saying, not the editing and the B-roll, all the stuff that I would tell you should have. And I wouldn't tell a broker to have this, but if someone's came to me and said, can I produce your videos? They're going to look really good. I'm going to brand them up. They're going to look nice. They're going to look super. But your client doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
What your client cares about is, are you helping them, and are you giving them the value? And this has been my new mission, is like, mortgage advisors need to understand that you're not content creators. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not designed to be. You're not supposed to be. You're a mortgage broker. And if your content is taking you longer than, say, half an hour a day, and it should be about half an hour a day to an hour, between 15 minutes to say an hour, like depending on what your schedule is. If it's taking you longer than that, you need to seriously take a hard look at yourself and go, okay, is that really worth what I'm doing? The problem is you will look at someone like Alex Kerr, and I love Alex Kerr, and he's a good friend of mine, but that's his hobby. His hobby is to have an incredibly great YouTube channel about mortgage brokers, and he'll spend 10 to 15 hours on a video. But you aren't that person. So I don't think that video can be outsourced. And I've never, ever been proven wrong. Like, I really haven't. Like, and I wish I had, but it fundamentally comes down to, I've yet to meet a firm, unless you are like Barclays, who has enough money to pay someone to do enough content that will actually move the needle. Video content only works if it's daily, really, 5 days a week.
The only company I've seen that create the video content is Wonder Films, but they will go to site and record the people.
But they're a movie. That's a film.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? It's not a social content. So that's the thing. It's a very different context. So we work with Carla, and she's just had like a really great video made that is like an introduction, a recruitment video, a welcome to the team. It's very professional and costs a lot of money. But the thing that drives the needle, again, it's knowing what you've got. You've got a hammer to hammer a nail in, and you've got a screwdriver to get a screw in. You've got to know the different tool for the different thing. And why it comes down to, and I had a discussion with someone on a discovery call about this. They were like, well, I want my video to look good, and I need my branding to look good. And I was like, look, first things first. I said, don't even try and tell me that you think your clients care about that, because they don't. The only reason you're telling me that is because your ego wants you to have the best room and the best space and the best this, but no one cares. I was like, and if you go down that route, it's a bit like I'm a big Star Wars fan, but it's like, if you go down a path that I cannot follow, because the truth is you'll run out of time, you'll run out of resources, you'll run out of track before you get any traction. You just will. I do videos pretty much I do 7 days a week. Plus I do like a daily YouTube video for my podcasting stuff. Plus I do a weekly podcast. Plus I do a daily email. Plus I do about 20 stories. I physically don't earn enough money to pay someone to do my socials. And I do the amount required to really move the needle. You have to, people drastically underestimate how much is required to make this work. Now, the good news with that is that you don't have to do this overnight. That's why we say that the building it out is like a year.
I say
progressive
12 months.
overload. Yeah, 12 months. You want to do 12 months to be able to, it's like body transformation. It's the same thing. You were looking at it going, when I work with clients, a lot of people never even have got on a camera. They're terrified. So the first thing we do is, how do we get you on camera? We don't get them on camera to post on Facebook. We get them to post to me on WhatsApp group and go, great, that's good. Keep going. Yeah, and then as time builds up, my thing is the art showing up. You've got to get used to showing up. 1 foot in front of the other will slowly over time build something massive.
If you haven't done a video, this is your call to action to do it now and get one out there. Even if it's just you walking through the park, that's all it is. Perfect example is Lee Rowland does the weatherman. He talks about the weather on TikTok. That's all he does. But I'm not going to go down too much into video, because I'd like this to become a bit of like a resource episode as well.
Yeah, sounds
good.
So
giving people a few tips. Can you give us the top 3 apps or services that brokers can use to streamline their business?
Easy, yeah. So first one is Calendly. Talk about it all the time. That's a booking link.
Calendly. So Calendly.
Yeah, that's it. CALDA. Yeah, that's the one. It's spelt really weird. Like, and dyslexic. It's like, oh. So Calendly is a booking link, directly links to your diary. When done properly, so when used correctly, it's an amazing tool. So what you can do is link discovery calls, so they can be phone call, whatever you want, and then you can have up to 10 questions, and those 10 questions will can be pre-qualifying questions. So they are like, oh, what are you getting? Are you first time buyer? Wait, and you can, so you get a mini fact find on the when people book into your diary. That's a big win. If you're, in my opinion, it's one of the first things I try to do with advisors is like get that up and running, because what that will do is be able to it's like a tap that you can turn on and off the influx of people coming in and out of your diary and not look like you're kind of incompetent, because there's nothing worse than going, I'm really busy. Someone messaging you saying, can you see me? No, I'm sorry, I can't see you right now. I'm super busy. Best thing to do is send them a link. And then it's like, yeah, they can see that they can't see you until the end of the month. It naturally does that. Or if you're going on holiday, you just block your diary out and you go on holiday and the diary just blocks that out. So then people try to book in, you don't have to say, yes, sorry, I'm on holiday. You're saying, they just look and it's busy. It also stops that whole going back and forth. When are you free? I'm free here. And for advisors who are trying not to work weekends and evenings, which I'm a big advocate of, you shouldn't, I don't think that thing is really good to take back control of your diary. To take Anish into example, Anish works Monday to Friday, and he starts seeing appointments. He does 1 hour appointments at 12, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's it. And he does it Monday to Friday, 9, and that's it. He doesn't do any late appointments. He doesn't do any weekends appointments, and he's crushing it. And it's because of this calendar. Do
you think, sorry to pull away from that, we'll get back to that in a sec. As a new broker, do you think you should work weekends to get people in? Don't you?
No, I don't. I don't think you should. I think you should start as you mean to go on.
Right. Okay. That's it. Because I've always been a huge advocate of, I would personally do it because I want to build up my book and I'd work any time to be able to get them in. And then when it comes to Remo stage, yes, I can take back control. But
it's an interesting question, and it's an interesting point that I would have been different before. And I've changed as the more firms I've met and the more my business has grown and evolved and changed and stuff. I wouldn't, if I was to do it all again, I would start as I mean to go on, because the problem is a lot of people are busy fools. I had this, and I had this myself. I said this year, I've been quite ill over the beginning of this year. And one thing I realized was when I was ill, I couldn't do much work, but I could still see my clients. I made the same amount of money, but I worked maybe a 10th of the time.
Really?
And I remember looking, going, you're an idiot. Like, what have I been doing? What have I been doing? And I think that's the problem with new advisors, is this hustle. Yes, absolutely. So if you want to work weekends, by all means, work weekends. If you like, but what I think people should do is set parameters of what they want to work. So there's nothing worse than when I meet an advisor going, oh, I work late evenings and weekends. I'm like, well, you chose to do that. I didn't choose it. The clients need to see me. No, they don't. You create the guardrails like a bowling ball. You roll it. If you don't want to put those rails up, that's your fault. That's a you problem. You got to fix that problem. And it's this scenario of, if you get someone in, it's the whole thing about niching and sometimes canceling clients, is if you get the wrong people in, the wrong people will recommend more of the wrong people.
Very good point. Yeah, I suppose if you think, oh, this person does appointments at 9 p.m. So go and speak to their mate, and then they're like, well, I want a 9 p.m. appointment.
Yes. And I think that every time I've done this, we've seen it with Anish, and we've seen it with many, many others, is like Carla, all of them. Every advisor, when I first started working with them, were like, I do all these crazy ones. And we've slowly, like Carla won't even take a call unless you filled in a full fact find, and she doesn't even show you it's Monday to Thursday. It's Friday, she's with her daughter, and she does not work on a Friday. And it's the real successful people control the narrative. Me and you spoke about before we went there. I said about the power. You need to have the power of the conversation. I like to have in my conversations with clients, I like to be in a position of power to be like, you've booked on and spoke to me. I've not chased you to try and be my client. It's exactly the same thing. If you are happy, it's desperate, I think. Yeah, and so I would say, if you're somebody who wants to work, if you're like, you know what, I only work evenings, and you work.
Yeah.
You have the week, you have the days off. But I tell you, I'd be pushing the narrative through Instagram stories on that. I'd be full on showing. I'm having all this time off, and look what I'm up to, and blah, blah, blah. And then in the evenings, it's now time to work. Like, that's the narrative. But if you're running yourself ragged, trying to get any scrappy bit of business, I think you're better off just training yourself to be like, no, it's this time and this day and this thing, and I think you'll do well.
And that's what Calendly allows people to set their diary. So first one is Calendly. Second one?
BigView. So BigView is so it's BIGVU. And BigView is a teleprompting app. So it is an app on your phone, but it also has a desktop version. And it will allow you to trying to see it here. It will allow you to effectively, there you go, it's called BigView. It looks like this if you're watching it on the TV. If you're thinking, if not, I'll show it. So it's an app, and it allows you to script a video and then record that video with the script scrolling as a teleprompter in front of it. And it scrolls up to the lens of the phone, so you're looking into the lens of the camera, and it'll tell you how long the videos are. So you can say this is going to roughly be 45 seconds. You can add the text on your computer, and then so you could write up a load of scripts, and then you can send it to your phone. It's a game changer. I use that with most clients who are new to making videos because they're nervous and they don't know what to talk about. And so it's there. It's really great if your compliance requires you to write a script, because you can just write the script, get it signed off, and then
to them. That's a good
read
point.
it. And it's really, really useful when things happen. And Anish is the big user of this, is that like if something comes along and you don't really know it, but you know it's a big change in the industry, you can literally just take, go from mortgage strategy, copy the explanations and the facts and the figures, stick it in, and then you can read it, and you actually have the information, and you're speaking the information. So BigView.
That's one thing I am downloading.
It's a game changer.
It's something I've not used. So we've got Calendly.
I'll send you a link if you want. I do have an affiliate link for it, but the affiliate link will give you 20% off for the year.
Okay, awesome.
So I'll send you a link if you want it, and you can put it in as well. But I mean, it is an affiliate link, so I will make a very small commission on it. But it's one of those where the link is really good because it gives you 20% off, and it's like, awesome. Wow. So it's good, but so that's BigView is the second one, and it's kind of my tools in a toolkit. Every advisor needs those. Calendly, BigView, of course. Canva. I don't want to talk too much about Canva because that's a you thing, but like Canva is a kind of a must for any business owner. But the third one I would say is StreamYard. So I use StreamYard for my live streams and my videos on a Friday. For mortgage brokers, StreamYard is a vital tool because you can, with a bit of Canva and a little bit of, early setup, you can effectively end up creating really great branded videos, one take, that are long form if you're going to do a live stream or YouTube videos. So that is really good. It'll connect to Facebook. It'll connect to Instagram, not Instagram, LinkedIn, connect to YouTube, and you can just go live. You can run your intro. You can have your slides on the screen. And it's all of my videos, every video that I make, every single video I make is one take shot on that platform. So everything, if anyone's ever seen any content I do, everything is done. There's no editing of what I do, not a single piece of editing. So that's how it works. That's all done through StreamYard. And that is just a powerhouse. Yeah, it's a really good one. And that's, again, there's a link for that. That'll give you 14 days free on the pro one as well. I'll send you, it's all on my website on tools. I'll send you the stuff. Yeah, because it's
the one thing I like that you say there, which is exactly the same as us, is these podcasts are one take. We don't edit them. And a lot of people come to us and go, oh, does it take long to edit the podcast? How do you set it up? We don't. It will just be uploaded, because I believe that conversations like this, the raw conversations, is where you get best value. If you're having to chop bits up and take bits out because you didn't like the way that sound, or you're worried about how that might come across, is that really a true reflection of what you believe?
No, it's not.
So it's the same with videos as well. If you want to give your opinion on what happened with the base rate, go and give your opinion.
Yeah.
Because if you're reading something that's not pre-scripted, but something that somebody else believes, then why have people got a reason to buy into you when you're not genuine?
I think that's the problem. Again, it goes back to you're not content creators, you're brokers. And the reality of that situation, like, don't get me wrong, like that's why I like Big View and I like StreamYard combined. Is Big View is going to give you that vertical video, those reels, things like that. And then StreamYard's going to give you that YouTube feeling of a video with titles and things, but it's all one take. Because the reality is, like, those videos that you're seeing where people are editing, and I've got lots of friends who do really well in the YouTube space, millions of subscribers and stuff, but that's their job. Like, that is their job. And people are going for fast edits and fast cuts. When people come to see you, they just want you to talk about a mortgage. That's all they're interested in. You don't need to see all of, you don't need to have all of the fancy edits and slices and cuts. I think, and actually there's something quite powerful about, like, I had a call with someone and they were like, I love in your podcast where on your YouTube channel, sorry. So I'm watching your YouTube channel and you go, oh, that thing's spelt wrong. Sorry about that. And I've got like on my slides, I'm like, it happens all the time. I'm like, oh, I missed that name. And I'm like, oh gosh, I spelt that wrong. And she was like, it instantly made me go, she said, originally I was like, why have you brought attention to that? And then she said, and then I started watching more videos of you and I was like, oh, he does it a lot. And I was like, yeah, because address the problem head on. If you mess up, go, no, that's not what I meant to say. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say. I had it with a rant recently. I did a rant, and that's something that people need to get over themselves with. It's okay to be wrong. So I had like a rant where I was talking about compliance yesterday, and I was saying about compliance and like the FCA gives guidelines and stuff. And I was really and I was very like got into an emotional state, and I was saying that stuff, and then I wrote a really long message, and then Gary Das put a comment going, "You're wrong," and instead of me going, I actually was, at the beginning, I was like, well, and then I read it and I went, oh no, he's right. What I've done there is said the wrong thing. There was something in it which was wrong. And I put in the comment and everyone said, I went, sorry, mate. Obviously got a bit too heated in the rant and I was wrong, because you are wrong. That little bit there is right. That is actually factually incorrect. And I was like, so I'm going to delete it. We're too busy worried about looking stupid. That didn't make me feel stupid. I was just like, yeah, cool. One of my peers knows what he's doing. He's pointed out something. I could have argued with him, but if I argued with him, he's wrong. He's right. And so that's the scenario. We too busy worrying about people calling us out. If someone says that you're wrong about what you said in the mortgage thing, okay, fine. Don't worry about it.
Get on with it. Yeah.
Move on. Like, you're right 9 times. If you're right, cool. And if you are wrong, say, oh, maybe I'll just go and research that. Didn't know that. And then thank you so much for bringing it to my attention.
And the thing is, as you put yourself out there more and more, these things are bound to happen. And on that subject of getting yourself out there at the minute, because we're coming up to the kind of like 40-minute mark, which is where we like to keep the podcast in at. Of course. What is the best platform at the moment to increase the reach of your videos? And I know this because you've been harping on about this for a while now.
It's Facebook, mate. Facebook Reels.
Yeah. And a lot of people are going to be shocked there because they'll be like, Facebook?
Yeah.
I'm not using the F word on this podcast. Do you know what I mean? People are saying like, we're using Instagram, we're using TikTok, but this is how quick social media can change. Yeah. This is why you need, and I'm going to get really passionate about this, you need to be on Facebook, Instagram, and maybe TikTok, because Facebook do this. They switch Reels, and all of a sudden we're back on Facebook now. And Ash, tell us about like the reach that we're getting for Facebook.
Oh my gosh. Like, so Facebook has been insane. I've had a client it's got to be close to 4 million views on a video now. And that's going to be over 1,000 leads now from that one video. I mean, that's too many, by the way. That's like an infrastructure overload. You can't even deal with it. And you won't want that. No one would want that. But like that guy, like, he's pulling in millions of views now, millions of views. I've had multiple clients get over 1 million views. I've had many clients, like very, 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 like pretty much everybody. If you upload one a day, you're going to be hitting 50, 60,000 views on those right now. You're going to be generating leads from it. It's kind of an unheard of thing. I think Facebook is a biggie. And I also think Instagram, the two together right now, because they link, I think I would be all over I am all over Instagram right now, because I think that Instagram is becoming viable because of the Facebook crossover.
And this is Facebook Reels that we're talking about here.
Yes.
So it's not a Facebook video. And as you said, not many people know about it. What tends to happen with social media platforms, if they're bringing out a new feature, they will make that come up in people's feeds. if Facebook turned around tomorrow and said, if you wear a green t-shirt on your video, we will push you out to more people, you would see Ash and I wearing bright green t-shirts for the next 6 months, because they're saying jump and we're asking how high. That's what you need to do, be social.
Watch Gary Vaynerchuk is my favorite one for that. I mean, I'm like, I love hate thing with him. He's good, but he's sometimes a bit over the top. But like, watch whatever's Gary's doing, and that's what you should be doing. Like, it's really crazy, but that is the truth. Gary's posting, like, there was times where he was posting a lot of it IGTV back in the day. He doesn't talk about what it's, as I say, don't listen to what he's saying, watch what he's doing, because what you hear him say is usually recycled from a video 6 months ago, but what he's doing is what you'll see results. I learned about Facebook Reels off of, I think it might have been him again. It was like a thing, and I was like, we went all in. And it's only going to be a very small amount of time before it changes again, and something will happen. But people are making the mistake. And again, it's the lack of education on it. People are making a mistake with Reels. As you said, it is Reels. It is not a video. People, I constantly have messages from clients and people going, I've uploaded it, it's not working. I'm like, just uploaded a video. If you want your video just on this, if you want your Reel to be on your feed, you have to share the video. You have to share the Reel. Click the share button and share it to your feed. It won't go on your feed. It won't go on your main profile, like if you don't. So it's, which is why also it's really good if the argument of anyone saying overposting. The guy that's pulling in like millions of views, he was posting 8 a day, like at one point. Now he had a backlog of TikTok content, so that was why. But you can't overpost on Reels because they don't share them to your immediate followers in the same way they do with other things. So you can post 8, 9, 10, 20, you can do what you want. So really it is kind of
try it. Go and upload some Facebook Reels. That's what we're doing now. We're uploading a lot of stuff for the Instagram Reels. Post it to Facebook. It sucks
for our niche. It doesn't work very well for people like me and you in the brokers.
No, because
I get like 300 views or whatever. Everyone's like, yours aren't working. I'm like, because there's only like 8,000 brokers in the country. So there's no, like, I'm like, no one's going to be interested. But mortgages, we are never in a better time. I'm sure you feel this way for relevance. Mortgages are so at the forefront of people's minds right now. You will never be at a better time right now with that, with the alignment of Facebook Reels and this kind of cost of living, base rate, everything. Like, if I was a mortgage advisor, I would be greedy right now. I would be on everything.
I was thinking about this the other day, that I think there's been this shift where, say 10 years ago, it was this big thing about, we don't need professionals. We get the information from the internet. There's loads of blogs out there. We can learn what to do, and we're going to try it ourselves, which people did. Now it's turning around and going, we've still got access to that information, but I don't quite know how to do it. What's the word? How to implement. Yeah, I don't know how to actually implement the information that I've been given. So people are now switching back to the professionals, to the coaches, to the mortgage brokers.
We've got information overload. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think that's where I was going for.
The information overload this is the issue. Like, I don't think that, like, go back, if you spoke to me 2016, I would have told you that I thought the mortgage industry was going to go, personally. Like, I was sat in the HLP events and thinking, like, what, like, 27 Tech. I genuinely did, hand on heart, think that the advisor industry would disappear because it was being more and more automated. And I think you're right. I don't think it'd be further from the truth right now. I think, and I think with everybody is the same. What's happened is the rise of the internet caused information influx. So people are like, yeah, I need that information. And so now it all of a sudden devalued all these people who had skills it devalued all these people who had skills that you had to learn, like trades, like, and like any trade, like anything, you had to learn it. And that was, you learned the skill by time on tools. And all of a sudden you go and watch a YouTube video or read a blog and you could be just as knowledgeable. You're not, but as them. Whereas now what's happened is we've had such an information overload. People are like analysis paralysis and paralytic to it. They don't even know what they should and shouldn't do. There's a million people saying go left and go right and go, as not political, but I mean, just go left or go right or go this or go that, or it's really hard. So now the value of somebody who is a knowledgeable expert who has wisdom in that space is more valuable now than it's ever been, because it's like, people, when you say, like, what do? people are paying me and they're paying you. People are paying me to tell them what they should and should not do, so they don't have to waste time on things that to waste time and money on things that might look attractive at first glance, but ultimately ain't going to work because it's not right for their situation.
They could go and watch 100 YouTube videos, or they could come to you who's watched those 100 YouTube videos or has got the information to enable you to give them that advice. So Ash, we'll sign off. How can people get in touch with you and how can you help them?
Yeah, best place is to get in touch on Instagram. It's just at Ash Borland. That's the best place if you want to get in touch. Follow me there. I do daily content. I post loads of stories, and you'll see what I'm up to and what you guys do. And I sometimes highlight some of your clients and how good they are, and things like that. That's the best place to get in touch with me. If you want to work with me, the best thing to do would be to go to ashborland.com and check out my mortgage marketing blueprint. So it's like a 1 hour, it's like a 45-minute masterclass and a downloadable PDF that goes through exactly how I work with people. It's not exactly how I work with them, but it's like gives you something you can work on, but it's the blueprint we would work through, if again the wisdom, so to speak. And you can get that on there. It's £87, but if you use the code MMP15, so that's MMP15, which stands for Mortgage Marketing Podcast 15, you'll get 15% off it. So if you just do that, that would be a good indicator of whether or not you would that'll save you time and money to see whether or not I'm the type of guy that you want to work with or not.
And book that discovery call with him, have a chat. I've seen so many people get great results, especially some of our clients speak with Ash. And it's Ash has been there, he's done it, he's spoken to people, he's spoken to successful business owners as well, and he can pass on that knowledge to you. So book a call. I've heard of so many happy clients that he's helped them grow their business just by little tweaks like that Calendly link, or do you know what I mean, that big view, little things like that. And he's, as I said, worked with the likes of Anish Patel, Carla. He's the real deal. So book in a discovery call with Ash and check out his mortgage marketing podcast as well. It's very similar guests in terms, and it's very conversational like this. So add that to your podcast downloads.
Amazing.
But Ash, just want to say thank you so much for coming on, sharing so much value again for people. And please connect with him on socials. He gives even more away on his channels. Thanks very much for coming on, mate.
Thank you.